Hello everyone, welcome back again to PPC Roundtable. Today Sandeep ji is joining again with me, and today we are going to cover something really interesting, something a lot of you have been asking for. We are going to cover Amazon ads automation and rules, and we are going to go deep dive not only into Amazon dashboard, show you exactly which rules and automations are there, but we are also going to show and take you around a tool that we use in-house and create those rules and automation. We are going to show all those rules and automations that we use in our agency and take you around all those. Hello, Sandeep ji, welcome back.
Hi guys, thank you, Sammy. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah. So I think Amazon is full into automation. They have introduced so many rules inside their dashboard. But again, I think there is still a lot of limitations which sellers face every day, especially we can increase, not decrease, plus a lot of things which are there, which we're going to talk a little bit into. But before we go deep dive into the kind of automations that we use, I'll just give you a sneak peek about what we're going to cover today. So we're going to walk you around all the automations and rules that we use in house. And also, we are going to show you around what automation Amazon has that sellers can use without using any tools or third party tools. So, Sandeep, why not we go in Amazon dashboard and try to look after a few rules and automation that Amazon has and where Ashi concepts.
Sure. So let me share my screen. All right. So now I'm on a campaign manager for one of our accounts. So in campaign manager, Amazon has a very limited for a brand or a seller to do automation. Um, uh, though they have much advanced advertising system than any other available marketplace which is selling across globally. However, still the platform that they have as compared to the third party advertising advanced softwares, they are still behind, which Amazon is trying to catch up and do a lot of things for agencies specifically. For example, we as a verified partner have a tool called as a Drona, which offers a lot more functionality than what Amazon is offering to sellers through Campaign Manager. So in Campaign Manager, when we talk about automation, one of the things is either at a budget level or a bid level, we can do automation. So for a budget level or a bid level, when we look at, so let me open a campaign and show you that where it is available. So once I jump onto a campaign, what we have is budget rules here on the left side menu. If I click on budget rule, I have the option of utilizing that automation in form of a rule as a budget rule. So if I click on a budget rule, from here, I can set up a rule which can be based on a duration that I want to run it for, or it can be based on a performance. So either of that I could do. So budget rule here we can see is one is a schedule, another is a performance. Within schedule, we have specific events, or I can give the date whenever I want to schedule. Let's say I want to schedule it from over a weekend. Next weekend, I want to do that with a end date of, let's say, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next weekend. I want to do occur on a daily basis, this to execute, and throughout the day, what I want to do is I want to increase the bid for this, increase the budget either throughout the day, or I could choose specific hours. For example, over the weekend, I have realized from the data that 6 p.m. is when my campaigns go out of budget over the weekend. So I have a start time as a 6 p.m. and end time as a 11 p.m. So these are the 5 hours during which I want to give more budget. And I might not be in a system to give that. I cannot monitor it myself and then give the budget. So I could leverage this option where I might increase the budget by 50%. So whatever my campaign budget is will be increased by 50%. So 100 rupee will become 150 for that duration. So I can do this where I know the data and I want to do it based on a schedule. However, let's say you don't know, you have not analyzed the data, but what you know is certain performance, you want to give additional budget to your campaigns. You can choose that as an option in a type of rule. Start date, end date, you want to run it daily basis, and you have a KPIs here as a performing metric, CTR, CVR, and ACOS ROAS. Most of the times we are, we want to work with ACOS. So we can have ACOS as a metric, and we can tell whenever my metric meets a certain condition, I want to give additional budget. For example, my ACOS is less than or equals to 20%. And I know that, 20% for my account is a very good ACOS. So then I want to give additional budget. So same thing, I can give additional budget. So 100 will become 150 if it meets this condition between these time frames. So that is how I can do based on a schedule where I can choose specific hours, or based on a performance where I don't decide, whenever this condition is met, my budget will be increased. So that is how it is going to do this, and I can create this budget rule. So that is a rule based on a performance. Now, if my ACOS is, let's say, greater than 50%, unfortunately, I don't have the option of budget decrease. All I can do is only increase the budget. If my performance poor, then Amazon is not giving me the control to reduce the budget, because Amazon might not want me to, slow down the spend. Instead, they want me to spend more. So unfortunately, that option has not been there. This budget rule has been there for a couple of years now. But then this decrease option has never been added. So that is one of the automation that we can do, which is very limited of what we can explore. Moving to the second automation from a budget or a bid perspective is rule-based bidding. So that comes into campaign settings. We can come on to campaign settings, and then we have a rule here for bids. So here also we can do, now this will be applicable at a bid level. So here same thing, event or a custom. Let's say I do a custom again for next weekend. I know that I'm not going to be around, so I want to set up this automation for 3 days, where while I plan out to be away from my office. I could do daily, weekly. I would want to do daily because it's just for 2-3 days, and throughout the days, or choose a start date, time date. So here there is no performance. There is only option of the duration and the hour. So again, I can do is, I know my campaigns have given budget. They stay in budget till 5:30. But after that, I doubt, they'll be. So then in that case, my bids I want to push, then I can do this same. I can increase my bids by 25% now. So if I have a 5 rupee bid, it will be increased from 5 to 6.25, or roughly 4 rupee bid will go to 5 rupee. So 25% of that will be increased, and I can give the name, after office rule sample, or maybe weekend away rule. So that is the bid rule, where again we can only increase. Here also bid adjustment means it is going to increase. I don't have the option of doing negative value that adjust by minus 25%. No, it doesn't allow. So I cannot drop the bids. I can only increase the bids through this automation as well. So this is another automation which is there in form of a rule. So this is a bid rule. The other that we just looked at was a budget rule. And then there are small automations that Amazon has launched. But I think Amazon has to come a long way to match what the third-party paid softwares are offering.
Also, you mentioned about Drona that is available for agencies. Since maximum brands still don't have access to it, is there any additional specific automation that you want to mention which is available for agencies that you have found useful?
In Drona?
From what? Yeah.
Yeah, so Drona is very helpful. There are a lot of aspects that it does with agencies. So the rules are much advanced in Drona than what we have here. So that is one of the aspect we have there. We can keep repeating rule throughout the day and track the performance. Let's say if I want to give a budget every now and then, so I can decide, I start slow and then give budget at certain point of the time in the day, and then again increase it after a certain point of the time, and the performance is being checked during that time. If it meets the condition of that performance, then it gives. So there are a lot of things that we can do day parting with Drona, where we can decide which hours we want to push more, when we want to bring it back to normal. So Drona is much advanced. I think for sellers, they don't have access to it right now. Only the agencies have. Um, and if they get access to in future, I think it will be very useful tool. Of course, Drona is still trying to evolve, not as good as the other paid tools like what we use in terms of ads automation, but it is still much better than what we have in the campaign manager.
Yeah. You mentioned about paid tools that we use. So why not let me share over the screen and
So I think the software that we use is called a Pacvue, which is one of the oldest softwares in the industry. Pacvue has been around, I think, for 7 years or more. I would say this is the OG software of advertising automation. Earlier, it was only available to certain agencies and big brands when it, initially. But then over a period of time, they've been able to provide it to a lot of other agencies, a lot of brands. So this is one of the most used software in US and one of the oldest. And all the other softwares that we see in the market have somewhere or the other way tried to learn from it and then mimic what Pacvue can do. And we use Pacvue. We've been using Pacvue for a few months now, for almost half an year, and it has been very helpful, very useful tool. Based on today's, I think, topic automation, it offers full fledged automation in form of a AI as well as the controlled automation. So both options are there. We prefer to use it the controlled automation through rules. So we can look at those, a few of the rules which are helping us in our day-to-day operations.
yeah. Yeah, I think there are so many rules that we can describe, but it would take so much time. We can specifically keep a particular session on describing each of that. But today, I think we can keep it short and explain the most useful rules that are there in Pacvue and slowly try to disclose and take you around on what those features offers, right? Like one thing we have is buy box ownership, right?
So, with Pacvue, what we have is one is the ad level rules like CPC metrics and ACOS and all of that, and then the other rule that we have is a commerce based rules. Commerce based rules are typically for a seller central, and not just the seller central. The beauty of Pacvue is that it also offers a vendor central 1P rules. So irrespective whether you are selling as a 3P as a seller central or 1P as a vendor central, you could leverage the commerce rules if you connect your account with Pacvue. So once is you connect your ads account, and then the other is you connect your seller central or vendor central as well, so that it can take a look at all the data which is there for seller and vendor central as well. Something as simple as your inventory. With that connection, Pacvue will be able to understand what is the inventory you have at a ASIN level, and then we can use some sort of automation around that as well. Or in terms of other aspects as well, like buy box. So buy box is again a seller or a vendor level. If we have a software like a Pacvue, we can check such things as well. So there are a lot of aspects, retail readiness, review, all of those things it can check and help us with the automation. But for today's scope, for commerce, there are a couple of rules that we think are helpful that we use for our brands, our advertisers. One of them is a buy box ownership rule. So what you see is there is a condition that it meets, then it is going to either pause that particular product or unpause the product, so that we don't spend on that. So buy box ownership is, we can define what percentage we want it to be. For example, in this case, in the template, we can see it is about 85%. So if I see it dropping less than 85% in last 7 days, and I can exclude today, so I can pause that ASIN so that I don't do any activity on that ASIN. I don't spend money on that ASIN because I do not have the buy box regularly on it. Or if I have a significant number of percentage of buy box, that means I should be continuing with that ASIN, and I can enable it if it is paused. And you can change these conditions. You can always change these conditions These are template conditions. If you click on copy rule, it allows us to make those changes, and we can change the conditions as per our requirement. Um, so that is the beauty of this, which is not just ad level but also seller central or a vendor level information. Similar to it is weeks of coverage, another rule that we have, which is a inventory driven rule, where it is going to look at the inventory that we hold as a seller or as a vendor, and we can define what is the weeks of coverage we want. Weeks of coverage could be 2 weeks, 1 week, zero point 0.5, which is 3.5 days, or it could be more than that as well, up to us. And based on that, again, it will pause or unpause that ASIN so that we don't end up spending on it. And we can always look at the for example, let's do the create rule. If you want to go with the same conditions, if you don't want to change the conditions, we can click on create rule, and give some name, select the account we want to do this for, and then preview results. We can see if there is any particular ASIN that meets this criteria, and if it does, then it will preview here and give us the option to take the action, which is the pause ASIN. So we can see there are a bunch of ASINs here, different SKUs for those ASINs which are meeting this condition. So if we don't have the coverage, we don't want to spend money on those. We don't want to advertise them because the inventory is limited. That is going to get sold anyhow, because they assuming the product had been selling good. So these kind of automation is something that we can always leverage and rely on, which can help us to spend time on other things, other activities which actually matter more than this, and just monitor what this rule is doing on a periodic basis. Every day, if it executes, we can just check and come back what it is, what it has executed on, and if it is done properly, what it was supposed to do. So that is one type of a rule, commerce based. Then we have other which are more of a ad level rules. For example, efficiency, we can group them certain rules on a efficiency basis, and have different kind of rules here. For example, reduce wasted ad spend. This is at a targeting level. So you can see it says targeting rule. So it is going to check at a targeting level, whatever my targeting is in form of a keyword or a product or a audience, whatever I am targeting, it is going to look at for that condition. And if it meets that condition, then it's going to execute. And the best part is, I can always have a floor. A lot of other tools might offer this as well, but this condition of that, I can set a floor where it will not go beneath that. For example, in the current rule, you can see floor is 0.02. Okay, 0.02 is like 2 paisa. So let's say you know that on your account, after a certain bid, you don't get impressions at all. And you don't want the rule to keep dropping your bids to that or below that. In that case, you can set, for example, in home and kitchen, we would not want to drop below, let's say, 3 or 4 rupees. In apparels, t-shirts and all, we again don't want to go below 3 and 4 rupees. So we can always set a floor so that even if the rule is finding all the conditions and is ready to execute, it does not drop it below a certain benchmark where we don't want to go. And if it satisfies the condition based on wasted ad spend, like we have got certain clicks, there are no orders, take the action. So if we have to do this manually, we will have to spend some time, download the targeting report, and then do this analysis, or download the bulk report, or go campaign by campaign. So it's going to take a lot of time. But with automation, we can do such mundane task, through automation, and only look at the execution results to ensure it is executing as it should be. Another rule, there are a lot of such rules, but another rule that we have here is a high ACOS, which is again, going to check if we've got the condition. So for example, the condition here says targeting ACOS greater than campaign target ACOS. So let's say targeting ACOS is, my target ACOS is 20%, and campaign target ACOS is more than that by 5%, 105%. So if it is more than that, then it is going to decrease by a certain percentage, by 3%, again with a floor. So I can change whatever numbers I want based on the duration, and also exclude last 2 days. Typically, we see a lot of attribution for sales happen in a day or a two. So we can always exclude that as well, and then only look for previous to 2 days, whatever duration we want to look at. and then set a frequency. The best part is we can always set a frequency for this rule, the time and the duration that it should execute. We want it to execute every day, after 3 days. Typically for a such rule, we'd want to give it, based on again the clicks, the data we have in the account, but we'd want to give it, let's say, 3 days, 4 days. Maybe if there is not enough clicks in the account, we might want to do frequency of a weekly basis. We don't want to unnecessarily make so many changes, so we might also want to look at on a weekly basis. It depends on how much data, how many clicks we get in the account on a daily basis. So that is one type of a rule. Then we've got a lot of other rules which can help. We can pause keywords. We also have other, for example, we can look at sales rule as well. I think here in the sales rule, we've got bunch of options we can look at. For example, campaign level rule. So this is a decrease budget at a campaign level. So we have a campaign level rule where we can again decide a certain condition. If it has a certain ACOS, certain spend, certain sales, we want to drop the budget if it does not have that much. Because if it is spend, let's say I give my campaigns 500 rupees, on an average, all my campaigns get 500 rupees, and the campaign has spent, let's say, 250 rupees on that day so far. Half of the budget has been spent, but there is no order that has been attributed. So in that case, I may want to restrict the budget from 500. I may drop the budget by, let's say, 20%, 25%. So then it is very handy for me to save the budget for such days where I don't have good conversion for certain campaigns. So this is very helpful rule. Another rule that we use here. There are few more like high ROAS or a conversion. So this is also something at a targeting level. Now instead of a campaign or a ad group level, we have a targeting level. Again, it's going to check the campaign, the keyword in the campaign or the ASIN targeting that we are doing in the campaign, and based on that, if it meets that condition, then it is going to increase the budget. If it doesn't, then it won't do anything. So again, we can set frequency based on whatever duration we want to run this for and the data that we get in our accounts, and sort this. So these are the different kind of rules. A couple of rules that we use, I think we can look at them as well. If you go to auto rules, in auto rules, we can create a rule. Here, there are all the bunch of rules. In them, one of the very helpful rule is this one, which is auto refill rule. Auto refill rule is something where we can keep a certain condition, and in a day multiple times we can run this rule, where whenever that condition is met, we increase the budget. So for example, we don't want to be we don't want to spend a lot of money. For example, there are some accounts where we spend more than 1 lakh every day. So where we want to spend more than every month, every day, more than 1 lakh, with 100 campaigns, there are some campaigns that have 10,000 rupees of budget. So now if there are campaigns which have significant budget, I don't want to start very aggressive there, because if I don't get the conversion, my overall ACOS can be poor. It can deteriorate, and my overall account level can be on a negative side. So instead of giving 10,000 to such campaigns, we start slow. We give it 500 and then use this auto refill rule with the condition. If it meets, then give additional budget whenever it meets. So we set up, let's say we can do multiple times in the day this auto refill rule. It will keep giving the budget if it meets. If it doesn't, it will not give the budget. For example, first time is 9 a.m. It meets that condition, 9 a.m. The additional budget is being granted from 500 to, let's say, 1,000. Then again at 11 a.m., if the condition is met, whatever ACOS, ROAS condition I have, if it meets, then I give additional. If it doesn't, then the budget is not increased. Then the next duration is 1 o'clock, then it will check at 1 o'clock. So that way, whenever it meets, it gets budget. It doesn't, there's no additional budget. So this is very helpful. This way, there are accounts where we have been able to improve ACOS significantly, because now we are not giving the budget and forgetting about it. It's not like set up and forget where we don't change the budget. It's based on real scenario where we are changing and giving additional budget only when we see the results. So we have seen a lot of accounts where we are very tight with respect to the ACOS, TACOS. The goals are like, we have to stick to them, and the CPCs are much higher. And because of that, the ACOS is higher. So there, this budget, this auto refill rule is really, really helpful, and we are able to improve the ACOS with this particular rule itself in most of our accounts, and it's very helpful for us. So
Yeah, I think there would be total around 40, 50 different automations, particularly in this tool. If we segment out Amazon's own dashboard, and we can keep on going talking about this, right? So, for the viewers who are watching this, why not you comment down below which rule you want us to create a separate video. We also have a dedicated channel by the name Regrow Media, where you can see more how-to videos. Exactly, we create how we can create a DSP campaign, how we can create AMC audiences, how we can create automation, step-by-step videos on specific topics. So if you want, just comment down below. We would make sure we will put a video on that channel, because that channel is meant to teach you how to create step by step, right? So, Sandeep, I think we have gone too far in this discussion, and we have covered a lot of automations today. So, any last thing that you want to discuss, or and then we can probably end the topic today here.
yeah, so I think one last thing would be is to not rely on automation too much. A lot of the times, what happens is we have seen a lot of brands relying on automation a lot. All such tools offer full automation, 100% automation, AI based automation. All that option is out there, which is available and much easier for us to implement as an agency. We manage so many accounts that we might want to manage more accounts and use such automation, but we don't do that because we understand that the AI automation or the full 100% automation right now is not something which is capable of managing an account as good as an individual, as a human, as a PPC specialist. So instead of relying 100% on it, what we do is we typically keep a 20 to 30% of all these things in automation, and 70-80% is still manual. And whatever this 20-30% is automated with some rules or with some AI, we keep a check on it. Whatever the frequency we have set, we know, so we keep checking every day. In the morning, we look back what automation was applied and if it functioned as it should have been. So every day the team goes back and check into the automation and check all the history of what all executed, and if it executed as per it should have been. Because there can be a case where we might not have thought of a situation, and because of that it can negatively impact. So all of that is there, which is helpful. So while considering automation, I think we should do some sort of automation, not 100%, and always check what automation is doing.
So I think that was about today's conversation. Now make sure you comment down below if you want us to create specific videos, and also do check out our channel by the name Regrow Media, REGRO Media, METIA, and you'll see a lot of how-to videos there. We go and create exactly step-by-step videos on how you can create same for you. So thank you so much everyone for watching this. Again, make sure you comment down below, and thank you so much.